I'm not going to tell you to quit your job, go all in on your business, or that you need to hustle and grind 24/7 in order to make this work. I don't believe in that. And honestly, we all know that those people who are able to do that have no job, no responsibilities, and no life. But for most of us, that's just not realistic. So that's why I've created this system which will allow you to build up your online business, even if you have just 1 or 2 hours a day. I've used this to start making extra income consistently. Since then, I've quit my job and gone full-time on my business. Now I make 10 to 12K a month, and honestly, I'm confident I can double that by the end of the year. And you can too. All it takes is the right system and just 1 or 2 hours a day. Here's how. So it was November 2023. I was working a job while on the side watching videos about how to start a business online, best ways to make income. The problem was all these business models needed so much time. Dropshipping, you needed to find a winning product, you needed to run ads, you needed to check the ads, you needed to actually be good at ads. Video editing needed a lot of time and you needed to have a professional setup and a good computer. People say that you can have a laptop and video edit from anywhere, but those people clearly haven't run Premiere Pro. And not to mention automation, agencies, and all these other business models which require other people. If you're in a 9 to 5, you don't have time to manage that. So that was me back in 2023. I needed something that worked on the side and scaled whenever I wanted it to. And before I knew it, I stumbled upon what I consider the perfect business model, even if you're working a 9 to 5. Since then, I've helped multiple people make their first online income in just 1 or 2 hours a day. And I'm confident this system will work for you too. Okay, so what exactly is the system? I call it the content acquisition system, where you use content to market your skill and get you clients. But if you haven't learned a skill that you need to market, here's how you go about doing it. I see the current digital age like the industrial revolution back then. There were some skills which paid more. The person who worked at the factories, there's probably a word for this, but I cannot remember what it is, compared to the farmers. Even though they worked back-breaking jobs in the hot sun for hours on end, they probably got paid less than those who were able to work simple machines at the factories for just a few hours. Reason why is because the factory skills were more timely. They were more necessary at that time. And the same thing happens now. There are many companies who are slowly catching on to the digital age that's rolling in. And as a result, they need people who are able to implement those digital age skills into their company and help them scale. And these people are willing to pay thousands of dollars to get someone to do so. These skills include copywriting, ghostwriting, video editing, content marketing, brand managing. Many of these are skills which companies are willing to pay top dollar for because they know that these are going to be important in the near future. But this isn't a video to talk about skills because everyone has talked about that. There are multiple channels that teach copywriting, ghostwriting, all these other skills better than I do. I'm here to talk about acquisition, how to get clients using that skill. And we do that through content. The reason why at the start of this video, I call this the easiest business model is for a few reasons. Number one, there are zero upfront costs. When you post content on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, so-and-so, you don't need to spend money on ads like these other e-com guys. No hate to the e-com guys, but your margins are pretty expensive. When you post content on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, you don't need to spend money on marketing. The algorithm does it for you. Secondly, the reason why this works is because it goes at your own pace. If you're busy, do it less. If you have time, do it more. The last reason why I would recommend content marketing is because it works for everyone. One reason why you haven't seen success in whatever business model you've been trying is because it doesn't feel right with you. It doesn't sit right. It just feels like you're learning it because someone said that you could make money. But with content marketing, you choose what to post. You choose what to put out there. I'll get into exactly what to post later on in this video and also do future breakdowns on my channel. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. You see, that's the fun part about content marketing. You get to choose how it turns out. And if you're wondering, how do you actually make money from this? How do you acquire clients from this? That's where this system comes in. So this is the content acquisition system. I wish I had a whiteboard for this, but for now, we just stick with a piece of paper. So at the start, it all starts with one core skill. For example, you could be a video editor for TikTok creators, or you could be a ghostwriter for founders on LinkedIn. As long as you pick one skill, one audience to solve it for, one platform to write content on, which I'll get to later, you're set. But then the question is, how do you actually learn this skill? And no, I'm not about to sell you a really expensive course. You can actually learn all this on YouTube for free. Though courses help, books and YouTube videos also work really well. If you're wondering what skills to learn, I'll just put up a quick list on the screen, then you can pick one and just go to YouTube to learn more about it. But then the problem is, what happens after you learn? There's only so much you can do learning from books, from videos, from courses. The next step would be to pick a platform. If you're someone who, like I mentioned, doesn't like to show your face, you can go onto Twitter. If you like short form content, go onto TikTok. If you like longer form content like this, then stick with YouTube. Reason why this works is because content allows you to test out your skill and just show people that you're actually good at it. It makes it easier to actually get proficient at the skill. One false assumption people make is that you need 10,000 hours to master a skill. That's simply not true. In reality, you honestly need just about 100 hours to get into the top 1% of people at that skill. Let's say you want to learn copywriting. It takes about 10 hours to read one copywriting book, watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and done. You have the basics. And then after that, the next 90 hours is just solid, focused practice. At the end of those 90 hours, I guarantee you that you'll be better than 99% of other copywriters out there, just because you put 100 solid hours into learning one skill. Regarding where the platform comes in, this is what is called building in public, where you just document your journey, show examples of your work. If you're a video editor, show clips of things you've edited. If you're a website designer, show websites that you've edited. If you're a copywriter, post copy that you've written. This works for two reasons. One, people will start to see that you're getting good at the skill, as long as you're getting the 100 hours of practice in. And two, people will start to follow along your journey, because at this point, what you've created is a sort of underdog story. People want to see whether you make it to your goal, e.g. becoming a good copywriter, or whether you fail. It's just like why we like to watch movies or read books, because we want to see what happens to the character at the end. This is a whole other topic, so if you want me to do a deep dive on it, I'll do that sometime in the future. And then the last step of the process is simply to repeat it over and over and over again. At this point, you've got a content system and you've got a skill that you've learned. All you need to do is keep going at it, keep building your account, and eventually, over time, you'll succeed. The crazy thing about making money online is that if you think it's going to be easy, it's not. But if you think it's impossible, honestly, it's not either. It's in that healthy balance between super easy and super difficult. So I know this video was just a brief overview on my entire process, but if you want a more in-depth look at how I acquire clients through content, I'd recommend checking out the free guide I have in the description. It's completely free. You will need to put in your email and it'll send you to my email newsletter. But if you don't want to receive my emails, just unsubscribe. No hard feelings, no strings attached. I'll be posting more about how I grew my online business in the last year. So if that seems like something you'd like to see more on your timeline, hit subscribe. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you around.